everyone. Welcome back to The Fresh Wave. It is Season 4, Episode 2, and I am your new host, Maddie. And I would like to present Cristina for us today. She's a returning guest, and we're going to be talking a little bit about stress and navigating stress and change in our life. And we're so excited to bring this to you. This podcast is for youth, by youth, and...
Johnny.
Perfect. All right, we hope you enjoy the episode.
This is very exciting here with our crew as we are getting into the depths of the dark, deep questions of life. And today we will be starting that as we get into something we all deal with, especially when we are younger. We have to navigate through a lot of different things as we transition into different schools, into different friend groups, into different phases of life. And what do we do with all of that? I think that's generally what we're going to be talking about, right, Cristina? What are we doing here?
Yes. So, the topic we're going to be talking about today is finding ways to navigate change. We had this idea because, the new school year just started, and, it's overwhelming to go into high school for the first time as a freshman, or you're starting a new job, or just different areas in your life where you need just encouragement, no matter who it's coming through, because you're just going through a lot of change. And so that's basically the main topic we're going to be talking about today.
So how do you handle big life changes? What do you do? What do you run to? What do you do?
I think a lot of the times for me, actually, I am working on this, but I go to my friends a lot, which is, at the end of the day, a great choice, because you do not want to sit there by yourself in your own thoughts. It is definitely a not safe place to be, for me personally, but I'm definitely trying to dig into the word more when it comes to being overwhelmed about change and just stressed out about different aspects of my life that I might be going through or that I might be in. So yeah, that's basically one of the things I'm working on.
Yeah, I think for change, there's usually two changes in our life. Some changes that we decide, and there's some changes that are kind of put upon us by things out of our control. And honestly, both of them can be very challenging, right? Even if you decide to make a change in your life and you accept something, you move forward to something based off of your decision, or if something happens in your life that changes that you have no control on, I think both of those can be challenging and can present different things for you to face. And a verse I was thinking about, so I was actually looking into this idea of surrender for our vision and theme for the year for youth. And one of the verses that came up as an idea of surrender is Proverbs 3:5-6, that says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all ways acknowledge him and he will make your straight your paths." So I feel like when it comes to change as well, this verse is so applicable. And I think it really does come down to the root is actually surrender, surrendering to God's plan, surrendering to what comes your way. And I think just as those changes come, to trust in the Lord with all your heart. Don't lean on what you understand, because a lot of times you're not going to understand it. So just trusting in the Lord with all your heart as they come, and just, lean on him.
Yeah. I think allowing God into our anxieties and the burdens that we experience every day is so much more powerful, because we recognize that God can do so much more if we surrender our problems, and instead of keeping them hidden or shoving them off to the side, it's a lot easier to let God into our life and allow him to reign over that area. We tend to hide things away and think that we can deal with it before, quote unquote, God reaches it. But I know that the more time we spend meeting God in the stress, the more time we spend being obedient even when we don't feel like we should be, we find that faith is based solely off of his grace, and closeness and peace is never going to be our circumstances. we will so often experience changes in seasons, in times in our life, and peace will never be found at the root there, but it will always be found in knowing that he's near when we call on him, and trusting that that's his truth. When we don't feel like it, it's important to focus on what we know. That is always the root of our faith, and his word is always the root of our faith. So in order to receive the growth that we want from God, I think we recognize change is uncomfortable and scary, but it's what gives us the fruit of the blessings that God has for us.
Yeah. For the longest time, I never saw the like actual, I think because, so I grew up going to church and, you know, Sunday school every single Sunday, and the verses they taught us and like just the things that are like engraved in your mind, I just started like remembering because I just started like reading my Bible more, and I never like saw the point in like memorizing all those things, but I think that it was like meant for like, I feel like this age brings like a lot of stress, and I feel like we were meant to remember those things like in this time frame. And I just opened my Bible like last night or the night before, and I just read like a random part. Like I just opened my Bible and just like read the first thing I saw. And the verse was, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I never like really looked like in depth into that verse because I just like have known it for like ever. But I feel like that verse is just so powerful like on its own. Even though like a lot of people use it, I think if you just like really like read it and like soak that verse in, you will find so much peace in just like those few words, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I agree. Those verses, I literally have that one pulled up right now because I was going to mention it, but I think it's so important to recognize those verses that we deem like popular or almost oversaid. A lot of people use them or just well known. The kind of assumption is that they have lost almost like their meaning or their power, but I do think it's the opposite. It's very clear that we need to be relying on those verses for a certain purpose, and they have the same strength, if more, because they're such like strong guidelines to how we live. And I like the verse before it too. That's, I know how to be brought low. I know how to abound. In any and every circumstance, I've learned the secret of facing plenty and hunger, abundance and need. And the root of that is obviously having God, having that internal peace, that immovable peace.
Amen. Yeah, like whatever situation I find myself in, change after change after change, I'm still going to be content. That's awesome because you have the Lord at the end of the day. That's the only thing that hasn't changed.
Exactly.
If you have the Lord. So amen. So yeah, so change, something you might experience tomorrow, every day this week, next year, whatever it is. But something healthy to reflect on and to acknowledge it. You know, there's nothing wrong with acknowledging change and anticipating it, but definitely want to prepare yourself before, and then even continue to reflect on it as you're in the middle of the change that you're going through. So, great topic to bring on, Cristina. Appreciate it. Awesome.
Nice.
I think it was pretty
Good stuff. That was quick, right?
Yeah.
I told you, 5 minutes is quick.
Yeah.
We went over 5 minutes, but that's okay because hopefully you're still watching. But thanks again. Fresh Wave Podcast, Season 4, Episode 2. Bam! Coming your way.